First play of the game, we're going blind pig.
We're going to go blind pig.
Blind pig, yeah.
So I'm also a big fan of the blind pig action.
The only reason we're running this action now is because he wanted to say blind pig and look cool.
Welcome back to the Blind Pig podcast. Every brand in every league in the world has a recognisable face. For Disney, it's Mickey Mouse. For McDonald's, it's Ronald. And for the NBA, they have the GOAT, LeBron James. Now, here's the thing. The face of the league isn't always the best player, but sometimes it's just the person who's the most recognisable. It's the person that they put on all of the posters, the one that they splash across all the social posts. And it's definitely the person who the people outside of the basketball cult world recognise and will say, hey, I know that guy. Think about Michael Jordan when he was at his peak. He absolutely transcended basketball across all different types of pop culture in the world. Today we're breaking down 5 names who I think could potentially be the face of Super League basketball. But before we got into all that, massive thanks for everybody who's subbed so far. We've smashed through our goal of 50 and we're now on a journey to 150 subs. So make sure you join us in that, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and let's get down into it. When we're talking about building the face of the league, we're thinking about actually somebody that young, aspiring basketball players here in Britain can look up to and say, I want to be like him. That could be me in 5 years' time. And for the next generation, the person that fans can get behind is Nedas Cholevinskas. At just 20 years old, Nedas has already made himself a huge name and a huge brand in Super League basketball. And it all started with winning the MVP in the HoopsFix All-Star Classic, and it's progressed as he's continued to dominate on GB's international stage, playing for several youth teams, including during Eurobasket's Division B action. He's got a really versatile game. He's got size, he's got scoring. But what makes his story really compelling isn't just what he's doing, but also where he's doing it. Nedas didn't choose to join a huge powerhouse team and just sit behind established stars, but instead he chose the Surrey 89ers, a club that historically has been an underdog in this league. And that decision says a lot about him as a person and a lot about him as a leader. Instead of chasing easy wins, he's trying to lift people up and he's trying to change things into a winning culture. And that's huge because the fans love a homegrown hero and someone who's loyal and builds something. You know, there's an easy connection to make between Nedas's Lithuanian connections and the Lithuanian ownership of the London Lions. And particularly this summer, there were questions raised about whether or not Nedas would leave Surrey for another franchise. But the fact that he chose to stay and be loyal is absolutely huge. He already had some breakout moments, including his amazing game at Leicester during his BBL Cup run, and winning, of course, the Super League Basketball Most Improved Player. For casual fans, he's the type of player that gives you hope. He's the local kid who isn't just playing for himself, but for his team, his city, and he looks to be the future of British basketball, a future star in the making. If Surrey makes a run this season, then you can bet it'll be because Nedas has improved, he's put the team on his back, and shown that underdogs can rise. Now, the face of the league doesn't always have to be a player. And actually, one person that I want to talk about as a potential face of the league has to be Cheshire Phoenix head coach Ben Thomas. Let's talk about it. In Super League basketball, the coaches don't rotate like the players do. They stick around, they become part of the identity of their teams, of the city, that real British basketball heartbeat. And Ben Thomas is a perfect example of that. He's been with Cheshire Phoenix since 2016, first as an assistant, then as a head coach. And in his run, under his tenure, Cheshire have seen real success and won silverware, trophies, and accolades. But why is he on this list in terms of, is he the face of the league? Truthfully, it's because the guy's Marmite. Some fans absolutely love him and will live and die by his basketball philosophies. Other people can't stand him. And there's no middle ground for Ben Thomas. Personally, when I go to a Sheffield game and they're playing Cheshire, I absolutely love to sit behind the Cheshire bench. I love watching him run through the tactics. I love hearing him argue with the refs. And I love hearing him chew out players as well. There's nothing more, the energy in the building erupts when Ben Thomas gets a technical. It's that kind of love-hate relationship that really drives intrigue and gets people talking about Ben Thomas and why I think he deserves to be on the list of, is he the face of Super League basketball? Every great league has really good coaches that are stars in their own right, People like Jose Mourinho, Greg Popovich, and Thomas is carrying a lot of that potential for SLB. You can't help but look around at the other 8 teams and think that they're starting to mirror Cheshire's style in terms of pace, intensity, and how frequently they're shooting threes. For casual fans, he's definitely giving the league something to talk about beyond the players. It's showcasing British passion, fire, and drama, and Ben Thomas absolutely embodies it. Okay, next up we've got Prentiss Nixon, a man who is synonymous with Sheffield basketball. He is Mr. Sheffield. One of the biggest challenges Super League basketball is facing, and that British basketball has faced for a long time, is the amount of turnover that we have in our league. Over 70% of the players who were here last year are no longer in the SLB. They've left, through their own choices to pursue other opportunities because they've done something else. We even have players who don't feel that the league is economical to stay. And so we have a huge amount of turnover. And one of the key problems that we face every start of the season is being able to get a fan base to connect to their players when they have to remember 9 to 10 new names. But Prentiss has stayed. He's committed to Sheffield season after season, and he's become the kind of player that fans can really build a connection with. And I'm genuinely sure that Sheffield are paying a big price tag in order to keep Prentiss there. He's had some monster regular season performances, including his 39-point game last season, and he's really solidified his reputation in the playoffs. When the lights are the brightest in the playoff, when the stakes are the highest, that's when Prentiss delivers, clutch shots, carrying his team through elimination games. We don't need to look any further than Game 2 against Leicester, back in the BBL playoffs, to show the type of shots that this guy can hit. Overseas, when we went to the basketball tournament, you saw how the Sheffield Sharks were being defended, and particularly how the in-game defensive scheme was to really try and shut down Prentiss Nixon as a shot maker. Face guarding, doubling him, anything they could to get the ball out of his hands. And that level of respect from a defence says everything about Prentiss's game. For casual fans, Prentiss represents loyalty, he represents legacy. When you think of Sheffield, you think of Prentiss Nixon. When we run through player introductions and Prentiss Nixon's name is called, the roar is audibly louder, the cheers, unreal. He's the kind of player that every league needs, the one who never leaves, who always competes, and gives the city of Sheffield someone to root for year after year. Let's talk now about a player who absolutely transcends the basketball landscape and whose influence and fame reaches beyond Super League basketball, Ovie Soko. Ovie is unique in British basketball because he isn't just a pro athlete with immense skill and real size and athleticism. He's a genuine mainstream celebrity. In part, that's because, well, not in part actually, completely because back in 2019, he decided to go on ITV's Love Island and instantly became a household name across the UK. And it massively helps that was, one of the best seasons of Love Island anyway. And Ovie was such a huge part of driving that narrative and becoming hugely popular among men and women alike across the UK. And since then, he's built a massive following. On Instagram, he's one of the few people who are playing in our league who has over 1 million Instagram followers. He has brand partnerships, TV appearances. Before last season in the SLB, he was commentating for what was then the BBL. And he's done other things, esports games, he's been on SES Who Dares Wins. Genuinely, he is a celebrity. When Ovie Soko plays for the London Lions, it's not just a game, it's a genuine event. You have people who are coming to the games and want to sit courtside, in part because they want to watch the Lions, but also because they want to grab a selfie with Ovie. It's people who've never watched basketball before. They'll buy tickets just to be near him. And that kind of draw is priceless for a league that's still trying to grow its fan base. And here's the thing though, Ovie's game really backs it up. He's not just like a one-trick pony or a circus act. London aren't keeping him just to try and boost ticket sales. He's genuinely making a real impact on the court with his athleticism, with his intensity defensively. And that's huge. That's huge to be able to have both of those attributes. Ovie is someone who has broken into mainstream culture. And in terms of the face of the league, when people are talking about British basketball, he's one of the names that people outside of, British basketball stratosphere will recognise and want to be drawn to and engage with. For me, that's definitely why Ovie Soko could be the face of Super League basketball. And finally, in what is probably the top spot, the person who's most likely to be the face of the league, we have to go with Aaryn Rai. Last season, Rai wasn't just great, he was the MVP of the league and dominated on both ends of the court. But what makes him truly special is that he plays the game in his own way. The SLB, it's known for not being a traditional European league. It's much more fast-paced, high-flying style, lots of athleticism, quick transition, and above-the-rim highlights. Now, Rai can play into that style, but he also stands out because of his signature rhythm. He's got this really sort of smooth, herky-jerky, downhill attack game where he controls the pace and almost lulls his defenders to sleep before he goes through with kind of that patented Euro step. And it's really becoming its trademark move. And one of the things that we love about star players in a league is that they all have a move. We think about how James Harden really revolutionised the step back. You think about even like LeBron James throwing down a one-hand tomahawk dunk. How many players are trying to copy that signature move now? That's become almost one of the problems, to be honest. Every dunk is a one-hand tomahawk trying to be like LeBron James. But actually, Rai represents a person with a style and a move that people recognise, they want to emulate, and they want to be like. Now, adding to the mix that Aaryn Rai became naturalised, which means that he's now eligible for the GB national team, that just adds another really spicy element. The casual fans might watch Super League basketball on a Friday night and then see him in a Great Britain jersey throughout the summer. It creates a direct link between our domestic game and the international game and national pride. For me, Aaryn Rai is a perfect combination of elite talent, distinctive play style, and the bridge between our domestic league and the international stage. He's not just playing in the Super League basketball, he's really helping define it. And I think this is going to be another huge year for him and a huge step forward playing in Europe, where his stardom is going to continue to grow and he will continue to be the face of Super League basketball. So there we have it, 5 names of people who could be the face of Super League basketball. Each one of them represents something different and represents something that British basketball is really becoming. With the tip of the SLB season only a week away, these are the faces that I think are really going to set the story. The ones who are going to inspire casual fans, that are going to draw in season ticket holders and really excite hardcore hoopers. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, and stay locked in for the Blind Pig podcast for all things Super League basketball. Catch you next time, guys.
First play of the game, we're going blind pig.
We're going to go blind pig.
Blind pig, yeah. So I'm also a big fan of the blind pig action.
The only reason we're running this action now is because we wanted to say blind pig and look cool.